arms and legs, just striding across, right, ladies? Those of us who were there. Well, welcome, Bishop Hughes. Thank you for joining us this evening. So we're going to have a little bit of a conversation with you this evening, talking about your book. And of course, we will have questions from the audience. So we're hoping that we can, cover much of what we want to talk about, and also give the audience a chance to have their questions. So, Bishop Rose, Bishop of Dover, Bishop of Canterbury, the first Black woman to become a church vicar bishop. Did you ever dream, ever in your life, that this would be you?
I don't think it was ever on the cards, as it were. I knew that I wanted to be a priest, but of course, being part of the Anglican Church and the Church of England, I knew that women were not allowed. It was made very clear to me that women were not allowed to be priests. And I remember one day in conversation with my bishop, the bishop saying to me, "Rose, we're Anglicans, we don't do that." And in my heart I smiled, because I thought, you may not do that, and the church may not do that, but I know that God does that.
Exactly.
And there I made, I think you would say, a commitment that I would remain faithful. And when the church was ready to say yes, then I would be ready.
Yes.
It took a long time.
Yes.
I was 33 years old when the church finally said yes to ordaining women as priests in the Church of England.
So we're going to get into a little bit more detail on that a little bit later on. So we're going to start out with your early days in Jamaica, because that's kind of where your story begins. And one of your favorite quotes, I understand, is from Nelson Mandela. Everyone can rise above their circumstances and achieve success if they are dedicated to and passionate about what they do. Now, when you were a child, you weren't aware of that quote. But based on, having read your book, that's what kind of motivated you quite a bit in terms of being dedicated and passionate. So you were doing that even though you were not aware of that quote. Is this what really motivated you? I mean, that I got from reading your book, but what is it that really moved you, even as a child, to go forward despite your circumstances?
I think faith had to be the foundational focus, because faith taught me, although I was growing up in a context where I felt unloved by my own family in terms of parents. My mother went to the UK when I was 2 years old. My father was present but not engaged, and there was nothing untypical by that, because most people my age group would have had a similar experience.
Exactly.
But it didn't mean that as a child you didn't feel as if something was missing, even if you couldn't quite put your hands on it. And I used to sing this very lonely song, which some of you might remember or know. I'm nobody's child. Do you know that song, you're remembering? I'm nobody's child, just like a flower, I'm growing wild. No mommy's kisses, and no daddy's smile. Nobody wants me, I'm nobody's child. And when you're singing that, it's a pretty sad song to sing.
Yes.
But it actually reflects what you are feeling. And I was always very good at singing my way through life. And I'm a closet singer, but I would sing to myself whatever was bothering me. And And it was through Sunday school that I learned about a God of love. And that was pretty special. And I remember thinking that I must be important if God loved me. I took that personally. And then I was also lucky too because there were people in the community, the church community, the wider community, my friends and parents who expressed that love. And so, you know, God is out there somewhere, but through these people, they showed me the kind of love that I felt that I needed and wanted, and that made a difference.
Yes, that is beautiful. So many of us don't get that. And so you found that comfort in God. So another question I have for you. The word that I can use to describe you is bold. As I read your book, I'm thinking, this woman is bold. So on page 3 of your book, you talk about being at a gathering at which Archbishop Tutu was in attendance. And if you've read the book, that was my moment that my mouth dropped, because what you did, you went across to his table and invited Bishop Tutu to come sit with you at your table. And ladies and gentlemen, he accepted. Wow. This boldness has kind of become your signature mark, right? Yes. What is it that makes you bold? I want to be bold too. I want to be like you when I grow up. What is it that makes you bold?
I think with regards to Desmond Tutu, it was always my passion, my ambition to meet him and Nelson Mandela. And I remember a long time ago I preached at Bath Abbey, which is similar to Westminster Abbey and places like that. And when I finished preaching, the place erupted in cheers. And the vicar said to me in the vestry afterwards, no one's ever done that before. And when we stood at the door as people were going out, a beautifully dressed lady said to me, you must have some great ambition. And I said, yes, I'd like to meet Desmond Tutu and Nelson Mandela. And her face dropped. I think she thought I was going to say I wanted to be an archbishop or even a bishop. So because I've always wanted to meet them, the reason why, for me, these two men, I had noticed from their life story that they endured much suffering. And although they endured much, it did not prevent them from having joy. No, so you would see them and they would be singing and dancing. And I thought there's something special about these two people that has not allowed the excruciatingly painful situation that they have grown up in to make them embittered or negative in their lives. They had joy, and I wanted to pattern that as well.
This is beautiful. So